Tell me a story about riding in the car.
Okay, riding in a car. I took a trip with my daughter to California. It was like 7 years ago. No, 1998. And the thing that struck me was that every time we passed either a the crosses on the side of the road where that mark where people have died on the highway. There were so many of them, and also road kills. And my daughter had a little bell that hung from one side of the one side of from the ceiling of the car, and every time we passed one of them, we struck the bell. Right, we hit the bell as a remembrance for the people who had died, but also as an act of compassion for the animals that had died on the highway. So we did that many times. That's my driving story.
I was a very good traveler. I had traveled by train, I had traveled in other cars, and I had traveled on ocean liners to France and then back to England during enormous ocean storms where everybody in the boat was kind of like draped over the railings or the banisters, sick, and the stewards were running around cleaning up everybody's up truck. And my brother and I, my brother when we went over was 2 and I was 7. My brother and I would just kind of walk around the ship and enjoy it like a ride from Coney Island. No trouble traveling. Well, my family was so dysfunctional that on these car trips, this is the only time it's ever happened to me, I would puke my guts out at least once, either going or coming back, because the tension in the car could be cut with a knife.
I fell out of one when I was 3. And I remember why I opened the door, and it was those doors in the 1940s cars that had the back door that opened this way, and I was sitting in the back seat, and they weren't paying very much attention to me, and I wondered what the wheels looked like as they were going around. So I opened the door, and of course the wind got the back door and took it out, and I was holding onto the handle, and it took me out too, and it was a gravel road, and luckily my father wasn't driving very fast, but then he drove fast when they rushed me to the hospital. That's my car story.